Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing and football selections for Saturday, the 22nd of November. Well, it's nice to do a video and good morning to everybody. So, let me get into the horse racing and football selections. So the horse racing selections have been chosen. I'm quickly going to go through them with you. It's a 15 pence each way lucky 63. I've also had a bit of a 10 pence each way lucky 15. Those horses are horses that could run better than their price suggests. None of them are particularly strong in the each way lucky 15. They're just like, if you want to bet in the race, this could run better than predicted. But the 15 pence each way lucky 63, I do really like the look of them, otherwise I wouldn't have had the bet. So let me get into it. So just after this, these horse racing selections, you'll be receiving the football AI predictions based on my SOP. Well, for the first week, in fact, first week for a long time, there was zero returns. When I say unlucky, you can judge luck however you want to, but there was one team that stopped us from getting a return. It was the both teams to score return, and it was Grimsby. Well, Grimsby, I don't know if you ever look at the expected goals. I don't get obsessed by it, but I normally have a flick after 10 minutes to look at the expected goals to see who's on top kind of thing. And I know it's talking about history, so it's who was on top and maybe not who is on top. But they'd got like 2.2 something after like 45 minutes. They hadn't scored because that normally goes up when they score, but I was like, well, they're going to score in a minute. And then they had one sent off, and I think they lost 2-0 in the end. So I think I'll class myself, or people who had the bet, a tad on the unlucky side, to be honest, because maybe if they hadn't had the one sent off, they may have scored, and it may well have been another decent return. I don't think it was enough to show a profit. I think it might have been money back, but unfortunately, it wasn't money back. But we still go on. So the AI football bank is currently, it started off at £150. It's now at 260. So even with a completely blank week last week, it was at 325 last week, and now it's at 260 after staking 65. So let me get into it. So it's a 15 pence each way lucky 63. The first selection is Cormier at 16 to 1 in the 115 at Haydock. It's running well on the flat, or it has been doing recently. I just believe it's fit. There are question marks over the fancied horses, and I just think this horse could well, if it runs its race, it's going to be competitive. Brian Edison stable, they had a winner, I do believe, the other day. They don't knock them in for fun like they used to anymore with the Ellison stable. I think for me, it seems a much smaller stable now. But they know how to get one ready. This horse, a few runs back, came off a 2-year absence, or should I say, it hadn't run since 2023 and returned in 2025, but it's gradually finding its feet again. So I'm finding it interesting. There may be a long-term target. It may be the Cheltenham Festival. I don't know. But I think this horse's current fitness should give it a chance of at least getting placed, I think. The next selection is Ace of Spades at 15 to 2 in the 225 at Haydock. I can't ignore this horse. It's Dan Skelton trained. I do believe it's Harry Skelton ridden. I might be wrong. It could be Tristan Durrell, but it doesn't. Well, I say it does matter, but I just think this horse. I chose this quite a while back, but I do believe. Have a look for yourself. I can't remember exactly, but obviously it's a Dan Skelton horse. They're not going to leave big prize money on the table. I think it's 56 grand to the win. I might be wrong, but I think it's got a decent chance. The next selection is another Skelton horse. It's Major Fortune in the 335 at Haydock. It's 13 to 2, and I think it's got a decent chance. It comes into the race after having a recent run, and I think it's got a chance. Then the next selection is Spit Spot in the 1255 at Ascot. I believe this is the Lucinda Russell horse. I think it'll race prominent throughout, and I do believe it could be difficult to catch. I don't think it'll lead, but I think it will be in the top 3 throughout. I think this is the race where there's a lot of apprentice races, a lot of apprentice riders. I do believe C. McCann's on it. I think he's okay. I'm not getting too carried away, but I think he can ride. Probably not the best jockey in the race, claiming, but he should give it a decent chance. This is the most interesting horse because this looks like a plot all day long. So, a spur of the moment at 6-1 in the 2:05 at Ascot. It's Gavin Cromwell. So basically, this horse, I looked at the sire of this horse, and it says 15 furlongs at the side of it. That tells me it wants miles. I looked at the dam sire. I think it's called Goldwell. That also wanted a very long wait, and that horse also sired horses such as Holly. Well, I say horses such as. I looked at this ages ago. I'm trying to think what they are now. I know for definite one of them was Hollywell. It was a bit quirky, but it was a decent 3 mile performer that actually did nothing all season. I always remember starting about something like 3-1 favourite at Cheltenham Festival in one of the handicaps, although it had done nothing all season. Quite funny, really. There was a number of horses that also that I could clearly remember that were staying handicap chasers at least, or staying graded horses, and that was from the dam sire as well. This horse wants 3 mile plus all day long. However, it's been running regularly over maximum 2.5 miles and running well, don't get me wrong. So it tells me that it's a decent horse anyway, not that it wants 2 miles, that I think it's a classy individual. And also, this is what I want to tell you, I've literally just remembered. So this horse ran in, I think it said the Munster National. So it had been running over 2 miles, 2.5 furlong, and then went to the Munster National and ran an absolute cracker. I've looked at the form of this one. I think this horse came third in that race. Out of the first 7, this is the only horse that raced prominent throughout. The 7th horse was beaten, I think, nearly 50 lengths. So all the horses surrounding it all came from mid-division or well off the pace. This is the only horse that was up there throughout. I like the look of that, and it tells me that it just. I hate to use the expression where they say stays longer than the mother-in-law, but I don't think you'll be struggling to get rid of this horse, in my opinion. If it jumps round, I'm finding it hard to beat. There are much more experienced horses in this race, but does that also mean that they're exposed? So make your own mind up. I do believe this is also the race where Largy Poet runs. Well, I like the look of that one, and I also liked the look of Snipe, but I just think a spur of the moment is the more unexposed horse. But obviously with unexposed normally comes inexperience. So fingers crossed for that horse. But it's been point to point in hurdling and chasing. So it's experienced. I think it's got a cracking chance. It just looks like it's been aimed for these kind of races, but they've protected its handicap mark, but basically running it over a distance that, don't get me wrong, it's been running well, but doesn't suit it. And the final selection is Katera at 10-1 in the 2:40 at Ascot. I'm not getting carried away when it beat, can't recall, is it Golden Pharaoh or something like that? The horse that won the Champion Hurdle. Apparently it's scoped dirty. This horse just turned up that day and just ran. It's over 2 mile, 3.5 furlong. There's an awful lot of horses in this race that will be looking to run, probably, or some of them, in the Stayers Hurdle. It's a very classy race, but how fit are a lot of these runners? And I'm thinking Katera may have deliberately got a race into it because they probably know they haven't. Well, they know they haven't got the best horse, but they probably realise that if their horse, the Skelton's horse, Katera, came into this race without a run, it would be more on a level playing field, as in like all the horses, the fitness is taken on trust, but they've got a race into it, so it's had a breather. So they've now got where they lack on ability, they've now got the edge on fitness. So I think it just gives it an extra angle. So Katera, I think, has got a decent chance, at least of getting in the places anyway. It will be held up towards the rear. When it comes to Skelton horses, I'm not a fan of Tristan Durrell. I don't want to make the excuses now, and I'm not going to blame him for anything because it was me who chose to put my money on him. But I'm just not really a big fan of the jockey. So hopefully he rides at least a treble today. So those are the horse races. No, sorry, no, they're not. No, they're not. Let's just get rid of that. In fact, there are some more horse racing selections. I'm gonna have to just show. Hang on. Well, that felt lucky. So. Don't know why I did that. It's easier to look at to one left. Hang on a sec. So this is the each way, 10p each way, lucky 15. So 10p each way, lucky 15. Ludwig at 20 to 1 in the 11.45 at Huntington. I do believe this is one of the very few with hurdle form. It's only basic hurdle form, but I do rate basic hurdle form far more than not having it, than coming straight from National Hunt Flat Racing. It won't be the classiest horse in the field. There probably is some nice horses in the field. I just think that the fact that it's run over hurdles, it gives it. I think it's a big thing, horses jumping hurdles, even for the breathing and stuff like that. I just think that when push comes to shove, sometimes horses that haven't experienced hurdles and they come with a big reputation in National Hunt Flat form, it can get hard work, and sometimes they can stop to nothing. Even the fancied horses. Excuse me. It's just a sneeze. Nothing wrong. Next selection is Market House at 14 to 1 in the 158 at Huntington. James Owen's absolutely flying. I just think it's got a decent chance. I think its first three, 14s is too big. The next selection, I do believe, is also another horse. I think that Equity Release at 9 to 1 in the 8 minutes past 3 race at Huntington. I do believe it's Sean Lysett trained, and it's got experience where a lot of the others haven't. I just think it's good. I think it took a bit of a bump at the start. That's it. It's National Hunt Flat Race. It's the last race on the card, and there's an awful lot of. There's no really standout trainers. I think it could be anybody's. It could be a decent price that wins it. I'm surprised this is 9 to 1. So, it's a Sean Lysett trained horse. It was running well in quite a warm race, but then weakened, which I've got no issue with that because it was a better race than what it's running in today. And it was also gelded before that run, and I always think no matter what, even if the operation was quite a while back, I think you will come on for the run. And the final selection is Double Measure at 4 to 1 in the 8 minutes past 12 race at Haydock. What that horse is, there's three mainly fancied horses. There's two much shorter, and then you've got the Skeleton one. Skeleton one hasn't won yet over hurdles. He ran a decent race last time when it comes second. I think if the favourite and second favourite, which are like, I think it's something like 4 to 6, 6 to 4, something like, or evens and 11 to 10. The two horses that are very closely married, if they happen to take each other on and ignore the third horse, which is Double Measure, how many times have you seen it where they'll turn it into a match and the third horse ends up coming to mop up whether it mops up the place prize money or whether it comes there to win. But I just think these Skeletons are very dangerous at the moment. So now I'm going to take you to right, there we go. So today's stake on the horse racing is £52. It is a £16 win treble. You must place this, well, do what you want, but it makes sense to place this with a bookmaker that pays out if your team goes 2 goals clear, or two goals up, as in 2-0, then, or 2 goals clear, 3-1, 4-2, etc. So it is Coventry to win, Liverpool to win, and Notts County to win. The next bet is, it's a £12, both teams to score treble. Brighton versus Brentford, Bournemouth versus West Ham, and Bolton versus Bradford. The result, and both teams to score Trixie, it is a £2 win Trixie. It is Notts County to win and both teams to score, Bournemouth to win and both teams to score, and Swindon to win and both teams to score. So the next one is it used to be called the Chaos Bet, the goals, where basically it is a £12 over 2.5 goal treble. Newcastle v Man City, Swindon versus Grimsby, and Bolton versus Bradford. And the other one is a £4 over 3.5 goals treble. Same matches. Newcastle versus Man City, Swindon versus Grimsby, and Bolton versus Bradford. So those are all the selections today. I'm going to have a bit of a clean up after, unfortunately, as you're well aware, my chicken left this place, but it left me a much better person. But I need to clean the house up because during its last few days, it had to live indoors. So, yes, I shall leave you with having a good day. So ensure you have a good day, keep smiling, and I hope you are very lucky. So the best of luck, Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.